But I mean, do you think, for instance, that it's most of those people, most of those 1.1 million people, in many cases, even if they enter legally, we know that 40% of undocumented immigrants overstay their visas. We know that in many cases there are too few visas, whether it's low-skilled or high-skilled labor, to fill the kinds of jobs we need. And we know that for reasons that are not so liberal, because America's business community tells us that. Do you take issue with the claims made by the United States Chamber of Commerce and many multinational corporations in the United States that there are genuine labor shortages in these areas that can improve the United States' economy?
Well, I absolutely flatly reject the contention that there are jobs that Americans will not do, Daniel. I worked my way through college, working in a tomato shed, picking grapes, working in a raisin plant, working in a slaughterhouse, working in a car wash. I simply flatly reject that there are jobs that Americans simply will not do, and I am living through. The problem is our unemployment benefits are so generous in this country. Our welfare benefits are so generous that a lot of Americans make more money sitting home in front of the TV.
Is that really the issue? Okay, I don't want to go down that just that hatch for a second, but you know that it's actually been the left that has been taking on unscrupulous employers who are interested in taking advantage of undocumented immigrants because if they work off the books, they have fewer labor protections. That's the kind of lawsuits that are going on, for instance, in the state of Georgia right now by the Southern Poverty Law Center, saying there are particularly and especially African-American low-income type workers that are interested in working those fields, as you said, but in this case it's actually the employers that are working around that because they want to be able to exploit these workers. Why don't we make this about unscrupulous employers and corporations?
Well, I'm perfectly fine. I think E-Verify, an effective system of E-Verify.
Every measure in Rubio's bill goes after the immigrants themselves. Nothing about the employers. And yet the right wing that apparently hates this undocumented immigration has nothing to say about that. Why is that?
Well, I don't think, first of all, I don't think...
Are you in favor of cracking down on employers?
I don't think employers should be required to serve as immigration agents, number one. But number two...
But you do think that states and local officials should?
How about you let me finish my answer?
Okay.
We have this problem with 11 to 12 million illegal aliens in the country right now. I believe we have to put a system of E-Verify in place that's workable, that's tested, and we hold employers accountable to run everybody that wants a job through the E-Verify system. If they don't do it, I think there ought to be penalties.
Okay, well, I guess on that point we can agree. One last point, Brian, and that is that in terms of what goes on, I personally believe, and many economists have pointed that out, that in a global economy where the United States has signed NAFTA and there's free trade and free exchange of capital between these two countries, and there's been capital disruptions in Mexico, for instance, where multinational American corporations going in there has disrupted local businesses, making it harder in many cases for those folks to provide for their families. You don't think that if there's free movement of capital, there could be freer movement of people?
Well, I think every country, Dan, you have to admit that every country has the right to decide who gets to come in and out of their country. I don't think you would question the right of Saudi Arabia, for instance, to have any kind of immigration policies they want. That's the sovereign right of any nation on earth.
Well, I certainly agree with that, Brian, but I'm saying that the cost of that and the realisticness of that in a global economy is much harder. Brian, I'm sorry I have to leave it right there, but thank you so much for joining us on Take Action News.
You're welcome, Daniel. Anytime.
All right, you can listen to him at American Family Association. He's Director of Issue Analysis, Brian J. Fisher. Take Action News continues. We're going to be talking with Dr. Digipol, our social media guru, after this.